Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. So today we're going to try out a floating bunk that we made. This bunk is the same height as the Woodland Mills bunks, which comes in at 5 and 15/16. So you can't make them out of 2x6s, but basically we just bolted 3 2x8s together and cut them to 5 and 5/16. And the idea is, I didn't like the large cantilevered piece that was always on this mill when you're milling 10-foot 2 or 10-foot cants. So this bunk, by not being connected, can float, thus floating bunk. I'm not that clever. Anyway, so we can move this wherever we need to support the cantilevered end. At the same time, we've got a Wood Miser 2-person log carrier, and we found that this is going to help us move our cant on the bunk occasionally, and we tried it out today and it seemed to work pretty good. So we're going to do this while we're milling up some of that hard maple, and we're going to go inside and make trim out of that. But hope you liked the video. If you do, drop a like. We'd love to have you subscribe, and we absolutely love your comments. So thanks a lot for watching. Have a great day and be safe. Hey everybody, so welcome to the channel. Today's one of the first days it's felt like fall since we've been running this mill this year, and I thought I'd just real quick show you first of all my floating bunk idea, and you'll find out along with me if it works or not. But I also wanted to show kind of where I start my cuts. This is the small end of this log, the butt end is that side, and what I stole off Logger Wade was his first cut at the sawmill. He cuts at wherever he can get a 6-inch cut, and so basically I don't measure, I just eyeball. But this cut is actually like 6.5, and by the time you get to the other end, you've got a 6-inch piece of clean lumber, and at the other end being larger, it's bigger. All right, so here we are at the butt end, and our 6-inch cut at that end ends up being a full 12 inches at this end. So this is going to be a throw off, which we use for firewood. It might seem wasteful, but like I said, that gives us a first straight cut that's a minimum of 6 inches in diameter. So let's get the rest of this milled up. Okay, also this log is hard maple, and inside we're going to use it for trim for our house. Watch it up, it will flip. Okay, lock her in.
Fairly low, you think?
Yes, like halfway the log.
She should be good, maybe.
Okay, what we were doing there is to make a square cant. Obviously our log stops have to be parallel with the side that we were cut, and I find that's kind of hard to do by myself, so Maggie comes out and helps me with that usually. Again, your log stops to turn the cant should be slanted away from the log. That way as it rolls on it, it helps to turn that log. So we're ready to get our second cut in. Okay, I've got my blade torqued down to 22 foot-pounds, and I already had it running this morning. It started on the second pull, which is pretty good. Usually I get on a cold mill about 3 pulls will do it. Okay, so what we're trying out today is my idea of a floating bunk. And what this is about is we just built a wood bunk the same height as all the factory bunks, which if you're looking for that, it's 5 and 15/16, so just barely under 6 inches. And what this is for is this large cantilever section out here. I've had my bottom board before, when I'm done milling, be fatter at this end than at that end, thicker. And I know the mill's level, so my thought is maybe it's because this much weight hanging out past this last bunk lets it drop or sag a little bit. And so with each cut, the more it sags, the thicker it gets. So this is a 5 and 15/16 piece of lumber that we bolted together. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the bark on the third side of this to get the maximum width. So I'm going to turn this one more time and then put this floating bunk, what I'm calling a floating bunk, underneath the end of this and see if that doesn't help it. So hope you guys like it. Follow along. I don't know if it's going to work. We'll find out. It's easy to do, that's for sure. Okay, so here's a 2-person log carrier, and if this works, we'll use it. If not, I'll fire up the tractor and use the grapple. What our plan is this is where this needs to go. I'm going to drag this log down that way until we can stand that bunk up and then pull it back. So if we can. Oh, use that. Oh, use this hand. Man, drive it in. There we go. I guess we'll move the extra weight off. Yeah. You got it good, but with your back turned. You want to turn this one? Drag it. No, drag it. All right. Hey, that worked pretty good. So, oh, and look at that. It fits right under it. So it may not. Let's go to that end and we'll bring our hammer. All right, so back down. We might have went too far, but we'll try it. It might not have. We'll see if we can push it this way. We're going to pull it this way. There you go. Nice. Still low. I think that's going to work. Okay, so we got this the other day. It's called a 2-person log carrier. And am I effectively covering up the... Okay, so, and there is a store near us that sells these, sells blades, even sells sawmills. But this seemed to work for that. What I did notice was, I was a little disappointed when I first saw it, that it doesn't go very wide. But then we put this on one of our logs, and 2 of us couldn't move it. So maybe having it not go very wide might be actually part of the plan. Yeah. According to the log weight calculator, this log weighed 550 pounds. That's why we only tried to pick up and scoot one end of it. But we've got our floating bunk in place. And actually I was pretty happy with it because as of yet, that end was not drooping. I mean, we slid it under it and it's sitting equally on that as it is the rest of them. But we're going to go ahead and mill the rest of this up, and we'll see at the end if this end is the same thickness as that end, which is the goal. Hey everybody. So another thing that we noticed with that 2-person log carrier was that the points on it didn't really want to go into that hard maple easily. I think probably on pine or some other softwoods or maybe a real barky log, they might just work fine. But we actually had to take a mallet and kind of drive them in to get enough bite to actually make that log carrier move. But once we did that, it worked fine. So if you need one of those tools, it seemed to be a pretty good one. Of course, here comes the sun, so that's nice. Like I said, beautiful fall day. None of the colors have started changing at all yet, but a bunch of the leaves have fallen. So, enjoy. Look at the grain in this. That's some beautiful maple. So the floating bunk has held this board to 2 5/8 on both ends is what we've got right now, which is pretty good. I didn't always have that difference, and I got thinking about it, it's between like a 1/2 and a 1 inch. I don't think it's ever even been 1 inch, but sometimes it's been up to a 1/2 inch difference between the mill end and the far end where it had this cantilever cut. But let me show you these measurements. Okay, hopefully I won't make you dizzy holding the camera freehand, but so just over 2 1/2, not quite 2 5/8 is that measurement. And then we go down here to the other end, do the same thing. And I've got just over 2 1/2, maybe not quite 2 5/8. Well, right there it is. So there might be some blurbs on this bottom side, but basically, if that's only a 1/16 difference, that is the same thickness at both ends. And that is, I consider it, attributed or helped at least by our floating bunk. And again, the floating bunk is 5 15/16. So you can't make them out of 2x6s. We just had some scrap, I think 2x8s laying around from when they built our barn. All right, and cutting this on the round, I'm gonna have to lower my dogs just a little bit more, and I can get probably one more cut out of that. I really just like making sawdust.
beautiful. I've got it all set up, and that floating bunk was awesome because I was able to take this last piece that's it was just a little over 1.5 inches thick. It was awful nice because it was so level this time. So I ran it through. I think I'll use it for a desktop that I'm going to build. And other than that, it's doing pretty good. I just got to go through here, tighten down the rest of these, and then I'll put some just down in the center, grabbing it, just keeping everything from wanting to twist and turn and warp, and it'll be 6 to 8 weeks, and she'll be down to the 7 to 12%. Most of mine are coming out around 7%, and then I can just take it off, set it over there, and start using the boards. That's about it. Centers can't flip up out of there. And I don't need that one. This should bring pretty good. There we go. And that's it. Fans on, and come back in 6 to 8 weeks and be able to take it all apart. It'll probably take longer for this one because it's so thick, but that'll be alright. I can just secure it again after I get the others out from there. It looks pretty good. So, and there's the ones that are done from last time. This stack right here is hickory, and this is some form of red oak, and 2 more hickory. They're going to be awesome. And then I have a whole pile of cutoffs that were just thin boards, but I think they'll make good trim. Most of them are over 3.5, and I'm cutting my trim boards at 3.5, so I've got a whole stack of these. Most of these, some of them are hickory, most of this is oak. So it's going to be great.
All right, so that's our video on the 2-handled or the 2-person log carrier that we use on the mill to move our cant around, and our floating bunk that we made. Like I said, you can move this wherever this cantilever end ends up being using our Woodland Mills HM126. So thanks a lot for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, drop a like. We'd love to have you subscribe, and we absolutely love your comment. Have a great day and be safe.